Jeez. Hey YouTube, it's your boy B3, back to another kicking TV review and another Tokusatsu review. Now, today we are reviewing Power Rangers Beast Morphers Season 2. I reviewed Season 1 forever ago. Finally got around to watching Season 2. I watched it on like one big sitting. Uh, by the way, if my demeanor makes it appear as if I just woke up, that's because it's true. I'm dog sitting or pet sitting for 4 different people, 3 dogs, 4 cats, and I'm kind of exhausted because they're all very needy since their owners are out of town. Sorry about that. But yeah, uh, I am. I watched the second season of Beast Morphers because I've been streaming Chroma Squad on my Twitch, link in my link tree down in the description below, and had me wanting to watch Power Rangers because it's a very Power Rangers-esque game. So I watched Beast Morphers season 2. Now, remember, if you watched my first season review, Beast Morphers season 1, I loved Power Rangers Beast Morphers season 1. I thought it was great for a Power Rangers season. Season 2 felt like a pretty big drop in quality. Uh, I mean, both seasons of Beast Morphers are pretty focused on toy sales, which is fine. I've said it 1,000 times. You kind of have to have high toy sales in order to make tokusatsu these days, because tokusatsu isn't really cost effective anymore with new technology and etc. And demands of higher quality from fans as well. But yeah, it just felt like even more of a toy commercial. There were a lot of weapons in it that seemed to be used only a couple times, really. And it's like, okay, big flashy weapon, only use it like twice. uh, this season seemed very committed to honoring the past of Power Rangers. Like, we get to see this storeroom that's full of all these old Power Rangers morphers and weapons at one point. That was pretty cool. There's a huge anniversary, like 3-parter this season that uses footage from uh, one of the Zuden Sentai Kyoryuger movies. It was the movie where like all the Dino teams at the time, because at the time there were only 3 Dino teams, teamed up in this movie to fight like a Neo version of Zeltrax and a Neo version of Goldar. The Neo version of Zeltrax would, of course, go on to become Snide in Dino Charge, Dino Supercharge, and they never used the Goldar until Beast Morphers Season 2. Glad they did, though, because he's a really cool design. And that was just a big special that really honored Power Rangers and stuff. I thought it was fun. Was it good? No. That like 3-parter or whatever. Well, it was more like 2 or 3 episodes building up to it, and then like the episode itself. Was it good? No, but I did do a good job of kind of honoring Power Rangers, and it was just fun. It was maybe not good, but it was really fun and it was really entertaining. You know, probably one of my favorite episodes of the season. Uh, we also had the inclusion of Space Sheriff into Power Rangers for the first time, because in Takumi Sentai Go Busters, which I really need to review, which is the Sentai that lots of the footage and costumes and stuff for Beast Morphers is pulled from, they have this crossover with Space Sheriff, because there was kind of some Space Sheriff movie stuff going on at the time. Uh, and it was to promote like the new Space Sheriff movie. Uh, and I thought it was really cool that they used that footage, because I always thought that big rhino alien looked cool, except his knee pads. They seemed a little gaudy, but whatever. And Space Sheriff's always been really cool. He's had a pretty decent influence on American pop culture, actually. The design for RoboCop is based on the design for Space Sheriff, and then Toei, who made Space Sheriff, was actually so flattered by RoboCop basing his design on them that they made a bunch of shows and movies based on RoboCop, like Lady Battlecop and Winspector and things like that. Blue SWAT, you know, G-Bon, etc. But yeah, that was those were fun with Space Sheriff. I don't remember his Western name. I just remember Space Sheriff Gavin. Sorry, I don't remember his Western name because he wasn't around very long, and I'm just kind of bad at remembering names. The only reason I remember Space Sheriff Gavin so well is because I've seen him in so much stuff at this point. Some of it multiple times for Tokusatsu. Rip TV Nihon and rip, other fan subbers that got those cease and desists. No more Space Sheriff for us. But yeah, there were some really good episodes in the season. There were some really bad ones. There was this super here's an example of a really bad one. There was this super generic body swap episode. And I knew it would be a body swap episode, kind of going before the body swap even happened. I could just tell. Because body swap episodes are so generic and cliche at this point. Every kids show has them, and they're almost never good. If you had to ask me to name a good body swap episode, the only one I would be able to give you is the one from Justice League Unlimited Season 2 with the Flash and Lex Luthor, because I don't like it in body swap episodes when the characters switch voices, as if they don't trust the kids to understand what's going on unless they swap voices. That's really stupid. I don't know. I don't like that. And it was dumb. There was this huge musical number in it, and I actually really love Broadway and shit. So whenever a random musical number appears in a show, I'm usually like, oh hell yeah, a fucking musical number? That's dope as shit. But the song was really bad, and really generic and really just stupid. It was a stupid, boring episode. They were obviously very much just 100% did not know what to do with the footage for the episode they were adapting. Uh, really dumb. They also had a lot of references to RPM, within this season. Two guest appearances of Dr. K, the kind of mentor character from RPM. I have reviewed RPM, by the way, if you're interested. And then something really stupid happens. So let's talk about the main villain of this show, who for the first half of the season is disguised as the Red Ranger's dad and manipulating stuff in the city. And it's Evox is back, but where is he hiding? And he's not only pretending to be the Red Ranger's dad, but pretending to be the mayor. And I really would have loved it if that would have held the entire season, because that was a really cool concept. There were a lot of really cool things that happened. I really liked the Space Sheriff adaptation. I thought they did a great job on that. Might have even been a little cooler than the Japanese one, because the Japanese one was kind of just a big commercial, but in this one they were we're not promoting a Space Sheriff movie, so we can just kind of do what we want. And it was pretty interesting, because he was afraid to go back to his family, and he was going to abandon his family because he was a cyborg now, and he thought that his daughter would think he was a monster, so he was going to abandon his daughter. And it was this internal struggle with him, and it was very cool. And there was just a lot of cool stuff. There's also a lot of dumb stuff. I'm going to give you, this is a big spoiler right here. So at the end of the show, there's kind of this reveal that Evox was created by Nate, the Gold Ranger, and the character that makes all their gear and morphers and stuff. It's revealed that Nate created him on accident when he was a kid super genius messing around with stuff. But one of the things he was messing around with was combining morphing grid energy with animal DNA to make new morphers, and he experimented a lot with RPM morphers. So there's the reveal that Nate created Evox, and it's okay, not really much, if any, foreshadowing for that. But I'll let it pass because that's like a pretty normal thing. Like they revealed that, and I was like, oh, so it's kind of like Vengix. When it was revealed that Dr. K created Vengix in Power Rangers RPM, except not as good because Dr. K created Vengix on purpose, and it was actually a really crazy reveal. And it had foreshadowing, so the RPM one was better. But I feel like this is the conversation that went down in the writers' room. Hey, what if we have it so that Nate is the one that created Evox? And then another writer said, that's basically the same thing as Vengix and RPM. And then I feel like another writer said, hey, how about we just make Evox Vengix? There's like no real foreshadowing to it or anything. It was basically just Hasbro going, "Hey, adult fans of Power Rangers, remember how much you liked RPM, which is big among the adult fans for good reason. Remember how much you loved RPM? Well, guess what? The villain in this show is just revealed to be the same villain. Isn't that cool? No, it's not. He reveals he's the villain from a previous season, changes his voice to that of that villain for like no reason, and it's it was stupid. All right, they should just let Evox be Evox. You know, I thought the way they beat him was cool because they figured out his one true weakness, and it was a weakness that was set up in season one. And I was like, hey, that was good. The way they beat him, that was set up very well. It was a cool, interesting weakness. And the weakness was also kind of like had some good metaphorical stuff going on. I was like, okay, the way they beat him at the end of the show, very good. And then we got like a flash forward to like a year later to kind of see where the Rangers were. And it was a cool flash forward, even though they played that stupid musical number at a party at the end of the show. And it's the last thing you hear before the credits is that stupid, stupid song. Uh, there's one point in the show where like Yellow Ranger reveals her identity to her mother, and it like I thought it was really done well, like emotionally and stuff. And then there's a part where like Steel, the Silver Ranger, I already said heavy spoilers earlier, where Steel, the Silver Ranger, dies, but he dies in a kids show in the West, so you see him die. And as an adult fan, and honestly, probably as a kid fan too, the viewers were like, okay, well, he'll be back. Steel dies and he's back in like 10 minutes. It's like, yeah, he's the one they can kill because he's a robot. So they could kill him and keep him dead if they wanted, but they weren't going to. So they kill him. And then when he comes back, which you fully expect, and it does happen almost immediately, he comes back as a full human because he has like half human DNA integrated. He has human DNA integrated into his robotics, and his like dream is to be human, which was the whole thing of the body generic body swap episode. So he comes back, and now he's suddenly human. It's like, why though? Why is he human? Is that explained? Like, I don't have any problem with him finally finding a way to become fully human. I have zero problem with that Pinocchio shit. Zero problem. Uh, but like, give us a real explanation at least. Come on, man. Like, I knew he'd come right back to life. It's a kids' show. You have to keep that in mind while watching it and while reviewing it. It's a kids' show. I knew he'd come back, but just as human with no explanation, come on. The kids deserve an explanation, and so do the adults. And, like, don't be here like, oh, we don't really, we were doing it just for the kids. No, you weren't, because making the villain a villain from a season that's popular with adults that was many years ago, the kids probably can't remember and can't go back and watch unless they buy the physical copy because you took the season off of Netflix along with most of the other seasons of Power Rangers. Even though now it seems like Power Rangers is going to become a Netflix exclusive show, which is so weird that you would take all those off and then be like, hey, Power Rangers is going to be a Netflix show now. Why would you do that? I don't know. Really stupid. But yeah, because all that RPM inclusion, like, that was all for adult fans. Maybe not the dinosaur rangers showing up for the anniversary. That was obviously heavily for kids, which I thought was fun because that was something that kids and adults could both really, really enjoy, which was one of my big things that I praised season one of Beast Morphers for. It's probably one of my favorite Power Ranger seasons. It was just done so well. Hasbro does a lot of their own footage in the suits, which they did in this season as well. I will commend them for that. They did. They brought back Vargoyle, who I thought was really cool last season, and he had like a cool gold body now. When they brought him back, I'd love a figure of that. Please release that, Hasbro. Please give us more figures, more of these characters. Hasbro, I would really love uh, figures of all three of Roxy's new forms in this show, because Roxy got like three new forms, but when Blaze got power ups, Blaze got one new form in this show, and then no more. And then Roxy got like a cool plant form, and then that plant form was upgraded to like a half Pteranodon form. It was awesome. Please give us figures of those, Hasbro. You can give us the Roxy. I know the Roxys are big. Give them to us in the Deluxe Lightning Collection line, please. But the purple Roxy could be a single release. Oh, doggy, I'll stop. Oh, you. I just heard you whine. You can come lay with me while I review, doggy. Come on. And then I'll let you outside because I think you might need to. I think you might want to go outside. But yeah, Beast Morphers. It was fun. It was an enjoyable season. There were times when I felt kind of like I was zoning out, and there were times when I was like, "Hey, that thing you just did is a little dumb, even for a kids show," and stuff like that. But it had some really good moments. It had some really good episodes and bad episodes in this season, good and bad. It just didn't feel near the quality of the first season. And because I think this season might have been sucking the dick of past seasons too much. And while I am very happy about Hasbro's commitment to Ranger lore and referencing other shows in their new stuff, and also Hasbro's going hard on the lore of the Morphing Grid, which the comic books have been doing too. But Hasbro's like going hard on Morphing Grid lore, which I think is really important because it was for most of my, most of the time Power Rangers has existed, the Morphing Grid has just been kind of uh something that's kind of mentioned every now and then, but no one ever really went into a lot of detail with it until like the Boom Studios comics. So I'm glad that Hasbro is really focusing on the Morphing Grid. I'm glad they went back and did Takumi Sentai Go Busters and adapted it because it was a really good Sentai, even though it gets a bad rap because it didn't have a lot of gimmicks and stuff. I often call it practical Sentai Go Busters just because they had the weapons they needed and like one extra form and it wasn't very extravagant. I like that Hasbro had a Battleizer in season one, even though those were always a US thing, anyways. But it's nice to see them still happening, and it was just really cool. I think Hasbro did a good job as Beast Morphers as a whole. If you're looking at both seasons, season one was better, yes, but season two was still fun. Yeah, just get RPM's dick out of your mouth, Hasbro, and I think you'll be just fine. I haven't watched any of Dino Fury yet. I hear the first half of season one will be on Netflix very soon, and hopefully that'll be pretty good as well. I hear the Green Ranger likes memes. That'll probably be cringy. Uh, but I honestly can't wait to see. I am going to a Power Rangers convention in August, and I will be getting footage every day of the convention and stuff. And I will be uploading the vlogs to this channel specifically. So do keep an eye out for that. Anyways, Beast Morphers was good. Season 1 was just better. That's my end of the day thing. But also it was nice to see Space Sheriff kind of join the continuity. And it was nice to kind of see... or Space Sheriff get new continuity within Power Rangers, and it was also nice to see the three dinosaur teams all team up together, even though, with a heavy focus on Dino Charge, because that was the most recent one, that was the most recent one. And then green and pink didn't show up for the first part, and then later when they did show up, they were always morphed because I don't know why the Green Ranger's actor couldn't return, but I think the Pink Ranger's actor just doesn't want anything to do with Power Rangers anymore, which really bums me out because Dino Charge Pink is actually one of my favorite Power Rangers. Yeah, you can check out my reviews of both Dino Charge seasons as well. But that's it. Thank you all once again. This was a longer video than usual, but it's the most recent season, so it's pretty warranted. So that's it. Thank you all once again for your support, and I'll see you all next time.